I really do enjoy the way that the money is pouring into what used to be amateur sports and NIL and the chaos that it is causing. Over the weekend, Jack Golke, I think we all discovered him at the same time, plays for Oakland, comes in off the bench, does nothing but shoot. He makes 10 threes on 3 dribbles. And in the sport, in WNBA, NBA, college basketball, in the last 25 years, according to OptaStats, there are only 2 times that someone has come off the bench and shot 20-plus threes and no twos in a game. Both times it's Jack Golke. And TurboTax decided to capitalize on this so immediately because they were afraid that Golke would immediately get eliminated, which he did.
Yeah.
That they did they just did an NIL deal with him. Golke spent the weekend just signing NIL deals. But this right here is absurdly funny. He can't even be bothered to have the time to get to the gym. He's clearly in a hotel ballroom. I'm going to guess Radisson Inn carpet. 1980s was the last time it was changed. And here we go. Jack Golke just doing a commercial for TurboTax.
Me and my team got to the next round by making all our moves count. Just like TurboTax, who makes all your off-court moves count this tax season.
I mean, come on. Come on. That's right, Billy. That's the correct response.
Well, he hit the ceiling.
Dribbling on carpet.
He's in a hotel ballroom. He's dribbling on carpet. Yet you at least got to give TurboTax their money's worth by going to a gym.
Have there been advances in anything less than in carpet? Like, what was the last carpet advance?
I'm going to guess easier to clean. I know there are very expensive kinds of rugs. So
look, they've taped down, if you look, they taped down a 3-point line on the carpet. Look, there's a white tape 3-point line on that video.
Now that's production value.
That he's running around to shoot. Look, watch him. And there's actually a white court also. Look, they made a court out of tape on that carpet.
Looks like he's in a gym.
Yeah.
It does not look like he's in a gym. Mike Ryan found all of the basketball middling. He called it March Midness. I will say that the NCAA tournament has never been about good basketball. It's just about, hey, please give me some close basketball. Because maybe when you're going back to the time of Tim Duncan and someone like Tim Duncan will play for 4 years. But now the basketball, what you're watching is basically being able to bet. You saw the numbers. I've told you before that I don't trust the ratings on anything, but the numbers being distributed suggest that more people watch the average game in the first round than ever have. 8.3 million per game. 8.3 million is what the numbers are that they're giving you, and it's just because it's action.
It's a good year to have the take that March Madness isn't exactly what people hype it up to be, because March, as you mentioned, it's about moments. And there haven't really been moments. You had a crazy 3 to end regulation last night. You basically had good games to start the experience on your Friday and one solid one to end your experience, but a whole lot of bad basketball and not a lot of memorable results. It is just the 5th time in history that all 1 and 2 seeds have advanced to the Sweet 16, so you haven't had real signature upsets. The darling Cinderellas are pretty much gone by now, so it hasn't been a great tournament by any real stretch of the imagination.
I think it's been a return to the norm. I mean, last year you had 3 outliers in the men's Final Four, and that's not – you can't count on that happening. And now – for me, the NCAA tournament is something I really pay attention to now when it's at the Sweet 16. And there are no real Cinderellas left, unless you count NC State as an 11 seed. And on the women's side, there's no real Cinderella. That's the Cinderella fallacy, I call it. We love Cinderella.
You do?
We love Cinderella.
You have a name for it.
Yeah, and you got to capitalize the F as well. The Cinderella fallacy is that's why we all love March Madness so much. We're enthralled with the brackets because when Oakland beats Kentucky, oh my God, we're apoplectic with joy, knowing that Oakland's going to lose in the next game and that Jack Golke, who looks like he's 38 years old, is going to disappear after cashing on NIL, and we'll never hear from him again. He's not going to
disappear. I'm going to remember this. I'm going to know where I was when I saw this commercial for Jack Golke in a ballroom. What hotel do you imagine that is? Because
Radisson.
The carpet is giving off something, right? That carpet burgundy. It doesn't feel like a new design. It
Right.
feels like a carpet that has been there for at least 2
Yeah,
decades.
it smells, that carpet.
I don't know if it smells.
Yeah. I can smell it through the TV. It's bad. It's been there since the 1960s, that carpet. And that design, what is that, a paisley design? I don't know what I'm looking at there. Is that a flame? What is that that we're seeing? It's crazy.
I do miss March Madness creating stars. Jack Golke, there's usually like 2 or 3 of Jack Golke, and this year, at least on the men's side, there isn't. On the women's side of the bracket, there are names establishing themselves like Audie Crooks and whatnot, but that's because generally the audience is less familiar with them. But it's been pretty chalky on both brackets, both the men's and women's, and it's been disappointing.
I feel like your enthusiasm, Mike, would be a little different if there was a certain blue blood team in the tournament.
Yeah, no
still.
doubt. But they were also upsetting teams. You know, they were a lower seed last year, both the men's and women's, and they upset top seeds on their way to March, on their way to the Final Four, and that's what March is supposed to be about, at least to me. Otherwise, you just get a bunch of boring games, and even if you follow the sport, which I follow the sport a little bit more now because, as you mentioned, I'm a blue blood, it bucks against the trends that you'd been hearing all year. For example, the last 3 years, we've been hearing how the ACC, noted famous basketball conference, is actually overrated and doesn't stack up with the better conferences, the Big Ten in particular. Right now, presently, in the Sweet 16, there are more ACC schools than the Big Ten has had in the Sweet 16 in the last 3 years combined. The ACC continually bucks against this narrative nationally that they're an overrated conference, and they always have Final Four representation.
Taylor says you're walking dangerously close to the line that gets your blue blood card revoked.